Hi, welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Megan. I am a writer and I love journals and planners and all sorts of geeky, crafty stuff like that. And so today I wanted to share a little video with you guys. This intro is going to be hopefully short and sweet. What I want to talk to you about, something that a lot of planner people on YouTube talk about, is something called a brain dump. I prefer to call it my inbox. I keep one on Evernote. Basically, what it is when you sit down and just get everything that's in your head out on paper or get it written down somewhere. And the purpose behind that is to get it out of your head so it's not being stored in your head, because it's kind of, your brain isn't really a reliable source of, well, it's a reliable source of information. It's not really a reliable storage cabinet. It's hard for that information to be recalled on demand, and that's why it's so important to have an avenue to write things down when you think of them. To me, there are two kinds. There's the kind where you're just going about your day, something pops into your head and you're like, oh, I need to remember that. I've gotten into the habit that whenever I think that to myself, like, oh, I need to remember that, I've gotten to the habit where almost immediately I write it down. I have an inbox in Evernote that keeps all of my random thoughts throughout the day that I'm thinking, oh, I need to remember that. And that way I can revisit that notebook in Evernote, hopefully every day, but at least, every other day, every 2 to 3 days, and see what I need to do and what ideas I've had in that time that I may have forgotten about since. Another way to do it, that a lot of people do, and I do this too about maybe once a week, is just sit down and allocate, maybe 15, maybe 30 minutes just to write down everything that you could possibly think of. Just do it. David Allen, who wrote the book Getting Things Done, called it, a clean sweep of your life. And basically, it's just a way to get everything out of your head that you may have forgotten or may just be keeping in there that you have not written down yet, and just get everything you can possibly think of out on paper. There's no processing involved. There's no categorizing anything. That all comes later in the planning process. But as far as a brain dump, the only purpose is to get things down on paper. Once you start worrying about organizing this information or processing this information, your brain doesn't work as well into recalling information. It doesn't work as well as coming up with new ideas. So you really have to be focused on the task of recalling information and getting it down rather than going through the planning process. And I wanted to, while I talk about that process, I wanted to also compare it to another process that, as a writer, I do pretty often, and it's the brainstorming process. And in a lot of ways, a brain dump is the opposite of a brainstorm. When you brainstorm something, you have a specific idea in mind, and then you are going off of that idea, and from that idea, you're trying to get your brain to come up with new ideas. So rather than you getting things out of your brain onto paper, a brainstorm is when you're trying to get something new in your brain, and then you're going to write it down as soon as you do that, but you're still creating something new, something that was not in your brain before, and then you're writing it down. Whereas a brain dump, something just pops in without, really effort or thinking about it, and then you just write it down. So they're really opposites in a lot of ways, but they also go together. Like, writing things down is an essential part of brainstorming. And if you do the weekly brain dump that I do, where you just sit down and you write everything that's in your head, there's also brainstorming involved in that, as you try to recall different projects you were thinking about during the week, and if you've forgotten anything, that's also a little bit of a brainstorm too. So they're not completely separate. You do a lot of both, and so you do both whenever you do one. They're both involved in each other, but what I want to do today or tonight is go through this process with you in my own bullet journal. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create 2 different collections pages. One, I'm just going to show you my process of doing my brain dump. Now, I usually do this in Evernote, but I'm going to do it in my planner, just to show you guys what it's like. And then I'm going to do a brainstorm for a book I am currently working on writing. So, yeah, I said I was going to keep this a short intro, and it's already 6.5 minutes, so I'm sorry about that. But if you would please stay with me, and I will turn the camera around and show you guys into my bullet journal and show you guys a little bit about how I do this. All right, see you later. Okay, so bear with me a bit because this is my first time really using this tripod with my iPhone, which is what I'm filming with today. So I am going to try and work with what I've done here. I'm still a beginner, but I think I've got a setup that's going here. That's going to work here. So let's see. I'm sorry, I'm moving my tripod around and you're probably just wanting to say get to the video. Okay, here I am. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go to my collections notebook, which is this notebook here, and I am going to flip to my first free page. And so yesterday I actually did an affirmations page. So this first page is going to be a brain dump, and I'm just gonna get everything in my mind out of my mind. So bear with me here. I'm just gonna do this really quick. I'm not gonna take 10-15 minutes. I'm gonna just do this, and I might try to do this both on one page, both a brainstorm and a brain dump on one page, but let's just see. And I actually like calling this an inbox. So I'm just going to continue to call it that. All right. Okay, so I've just wrote down a few notes that I will transfer as soon as I finish this video over to my Evernote notebook where I keep all my inbox items. But now you can see kind of how this works is I've written down like to-do list here, but I also write down things to research, things, books I want to read, TV shows I want to catch, I want to watch. And so basically all this stuff that I'm bound to forget at some point. Now, for my next project here to sort of differentiate you, I'm going to do a brainstorm, and I'm writing a book right now, and so I'm going to brainstorm a little about one of my main characters in that book. Okay, so now I've written down a lot of notes, and a lot of this was going on word association, idea association, just sort of thinking of something, and then from that thing I was thinking of, I would come up with something else. So I would build upon what I was thinking of, and that's sort of the idea behind a brainstorming session, is that you come up with an idea and you build upon it, rather than things coming out of the blue. And so that's sort of what I did for him, and that's sort of how I brainstorm. I like doing mind maps. Mind maps lend themselves well to brainstorming, I think, and I might actually do a video on mind mapping sometime in the future. I will write that down. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe, please like, leave a comment down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.